Your mouth is the most powerful tool you will ever own. Not your education, not your money, not your connections, your mouth. And most of you have been using it to destroy yourselves. You've been speaking death over your future. You've been calling yourself broke. You've been announcing your failure before you even tried. And then you wonder why nothing changes. You want to know why you're still stuck? Listen to yourself talk for one day. Just one day. Record yourself. Play it back. You'll be shocked at how much poison you've been drinking from your own lips. I need you to understand something that will change your life forever. You are not waiting to become something. You are becoming what you keep saying. Every single day, with every single word, you are creating your tomorrow. Your tongue is not neutral. It's not just making noise. It's making decisions. It's building buildings or burning them down. And most people don't know this. So they walk around speaking like victims, wondering why they live like slaves. There's a principle that governs everything in existence. And if you violate it, you will suffer. If you honor it, you will flourish. Here it is. Everything reproduces after its own kind. A dog doesn't give birth to a cat. An apple seed doesn't grow into an orange tree. And your words don't produce the opposite of what you say. If you keep saying you're tired, you will be tired. If you keep saying you can't, you won't. If you keep saying life is hard, it will beat you down every single day because you are planting seeds with your mouth, and those seeds don't care about your feelings. They just grow. You see, most people think speaking is passive. They think words just disappear into the air, but that's a lie. Words are seeds, and seeds don't evaporate. They go into the soil of your soul, into the atmosphere around you, into the consciousness of your spirit, and they start working. You might not see it today. You might not see it next week, but I promise you 6 months from now, you will be living in the house that your mouth built. And if you don't like that house, it's because you didn't like what you were saying. Stop waiting for permission to speak greatness over yourself. Stop waiting until you feel like it. Stop waiting until it makes sense. Speak it now. Speak it when you're broke. Speak it when you're confused. Speak it when people laugh at you. Speak it until your soul catches up with your mouth. Because here's what most people don't realize. You don't speak what you believe. You believe what you keep speaking. Let me say that again, because religion got it backwards. You don't speak what you believe. You believe what you keep speaking. That's why the Bible says faith comes by hearing, not by thinking, not by wishing, by hearing. And who do you hear the most? Yourself. You listen to you more than anybody else on this planet. So if you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, eventually you'll believe it. If you keep telling yourself you'll never make it, your spirit will agree. But if you start speaking life, vision, power, and purpose over yourself every single morning, something inside you will shift. Your belief system will start bowing to your confession. I've seen this happen over and over again. I've watched people who had nothing, who came from nothing, who were told they were nothing, rise up and become something extraordinary. Not because they were lucky, not because someone gave them a chance, but because they changed what they were saying. They stopped agreeing with their circumstances. They stopped repeating the narrative that was handed to them. They opened their mouths and started announcing a different reality. And you know what happened? Reality started shifting. Now let me be clear. I'm not talking about some magical formula where you say something 3 times and $1 million appears. That's not how this works. I'm talking about alignment. I'm talking about bringing your inner world into agreement with your destiny. Because you were not born by accident. You were manufactured with intention. You have a design. You have a purpose. You have gifts buried inside you that the world is waiting for. But if you don't announce them, if you don't call them out, if you don't speak them into existence, they will stay buried. And you will die full of potential that nobody ever saw. That's the tragedy I see everywhere I go. Graveyards full of books that were never written, businesses that were never started, songs that were never sung, inventions that never made it out of someone's imagination. Why? Because people didn't believe they could do it? No, because they never said it. They thought about it, they dreamed about it, they wished for it, but they never opened their mouths and declared it, and so it stayed locked inside them until they took it to the grave. You cannot afford to do that. This world needs what's inside you. Your family needs it. Your community needs it. There are people waiting for the solution that only you carry. But you've been silent. You've been scared. You've been listening to the voice of fear instead of the voice of purpose. And that ends today. Here's what I want you to understand. Fear speaks. Doubt speaks. Worry speaks. All day long, these voices are talking to you, telling you what you can't do, reminding you of your past, convincing you that you're not qualified. And most people just listen. They nod along. They accept it. But champions do something different. Champions talk back. They don't just receive words, they release words. They don't just hear the lie, they counter it with truth. When fear says you can't, you say I can. When doubt says you're not ready, you say I was born ready. When worry says it's too late, you say my time is now. This is not arrogance. This is authority. This is you taking dominion over your own mind, your own emotions, your own future. Because if you don't control the narrative will control you. If you don't speak, someone else will speak for you. And I can guarantee you, they won't speak what you need to hear. They'll speak what keeps you small, what keeps you safe, what keeps you under their control. I'm here to tell you that you don't need anyone's permission to be great. You don't need validation. You don't need applause. You need your own voice. You need to hear yourself say out loud what heaven already knows about you. That you are not average. That you are not ordinary. That you are not a mistake. You are a masterpiece with a mission. And until you say that, until you declare that, until you believe that, you will keep living beneath your privilege. Let me tell you something about lions. A lion doesn't become the king of the jungle because he's the biggest. He's not. The elephant is bigger. He doesn't become king because he's the fastest. He's not. The cheetah is faster. The lion becomes king because of one thing, his roar. When a lion roars, everything in the jungle responds. Animals 3 times his size run away. Why? Because the lion knows who he is and he announces it. He doesn't wait until he feels strong. He doesn't check to see if anyone's watching. He opens his mouth and declares his nature. And creation submits. You have a roar inside you, but you've been whispering. You've been mumbling. You've been apologizing for taking up space. Stop it. You were not created to be silent. You were created to speak life, to speak purpose, to speak authority over every situation that challenges your destiny. And when you do, I promise you, things will start moving out of your way that have been blocking you for years. But here's the catch. You have to keep speaking it. This is not a one-time event. This is a lifestyle. This is a discipline. You don't speak it once and expect everything to change. You speak it until you become it. You speak it when nothing's happening. You speak it when people mock you. You speak it when your bank account laughs at your vision. You speak it when your body feels weak. You speak it when circumstances contradict everything coming out of your mouth, because you're not speaking to what is. You're speaking to what will be. Let me tell you how creation works. Everything you see around you existed as a word before it became a thing. This building you're sitting in right now, it was a word in someone's mind first. That car you drive, it was a word. That phone in your pocket, it was a word. Before anything becomes physical, it must become verbal. Before anything manifests, it must be declared. And if this is true for buildings and cars and phones, how much more is it true for your life? Your future is not waiting somewhere out there. Your future is in your mouth right now. And the moment you speak it, creation begins to respond. I know some of you are sitting here thinking, but I've tried this. I've said positive things. Nothing changed. Let me tell you why. You said it a few times, and then you went back to your old language. You declared victory on Sunday and went back to complaining on Monday. You spoke abundance in the morning and talked about your lack all afternoon. You can't do that. You can't plant seeds of greatness and then water them with doubt. You can't speak life for 5 minutes and then speak death for 5 hours and expect life to win. Whatever you speak the most wins. Whatever you repeat becomes your reality. This is why you have to be intentional. You have to guard your mouth like you guard your house. You wouldn't let a thief walk into your home and take your valuables, but you let negative words walk into your mind and steal your destiny every single day. You wouldn't drink poison, but you swallow toxic words about yourself all the time. It's time to become violent about what you allow to come out of your mouth. Cut off the complaining. Cut off the self-pity. Cut off the excuses. Those words are costing you your future. And listen, I'm not saying ignore reality. I'm not saying pretend everything is fine when it's not. I'm saying don't give your current situation the final say. Yes, acknowledge where you are, but don't stay there in your speech. Don't camp there. Don't build a monument there. Say, this is where I am, but this is not where I'm staying. This is my current address, but I'm moving. This is my today, but it's not my tomorrow. You have to learn to speak from your future, not from your past. Most people are stuck because they keep introducing themselves by their history. I'm the one who failed. I'm the one who got hurt. I'm the one who lost everything. Stop identifying with your past. That's not who you are anymore. That's who you were. But you are becoming something new. And the only way to become it is to start speaking it. I want you to imagine a seed for a moment. You plant an apple seed in the ground. Now that seed doesn't look like a tree. It doesn't smell like a tree. It doesn't act like a tree. But you know what that seed does? It behaves like what it's going to become, not like what it currently is. That little seed starts reaching down with roots. It starts pushing up through the dirt. It starts acting like a tree before it looks like a tree. And if that seed could talk, it would say, I am an apple tree, even when it's still underground. Because it knows its design. You need to do the same thing. Stop speaking like the seed. Start speaking like the tree. Stop saying, I'm trying to be successful. Say, I am successful. Stop saying, I hope to be free. Say, I am free. Stop saying, maybe one day I'll make it. Say, I am destined for greatness, and I'm walking in it right now. Does it feel like a lie? Maybe. Does it look true yet? Probably not. But you're not lying. You're prophesying. You're calling things that are not as though they are. And that's exactly how creation works. See, most people wait until they see it to say it. But the kingdom operates in reverse. You say it first, then you see it. You declare it first, then it manifests. You believe it first, then it appears. And this frustrates logical people. This frustrates people who need proof before they move. But I'm telling you, if you wait for proof, you'll wait forever. Proof comes to those who speak first. I've lived long enough to see this principle work in my own life over and over again. I've seen myself speak things that made no sense, that had no evidence, that people laughed at. And I watched those words build a bridge from where I was to where I needed to be. I've spoken to empty rooms about full auditoriums. I've spoken to poverty about abundance. I've spoken to sickness about health. And every single time I refused to let my mouth agree with my circumstances, something shifted. Not always immediately, not always easily. But eventually, what I kept saying became what I was living. And that's what I need you to understand. Your words are working even when you can't see it. They're working in the spiritual realm before they manifest in the physical. They're working in your subconscious mind, rewiring your beliefs. They're working in your confidence, changing how you show up. They're working in your atmosphere, attracting the right opportunities and the right people. But you have to keep speaking. You have to keep declaring. You have to keep announcing who you are and what you carry, no matter what the mirror shows you today. Now, I know some of you come from difficult backgrounds. Some of you have been told your whole life that you're nothing. Maybe it was a parent, maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was a spouse. Someone spoke death over you, and you believed it. You've been carrying their words like a prison sentence. Let me tell you something that will set you free. Just because someone said it doesn't make it true. Just because you heard it doesn't mean you have to accept it. Just because it was spoken over you doesn't mean it has to define you. You have the authority to reject every word that doesn't align with your purpose. You can say, I cancel that, I reject that. That word has no power over my life. And then you replace it. You don't just remove the bad words. You fill that space with truth. You fill it with vision. You fill it with declarations of who you really are, because empty space doesn't stay empty. If you don't fill your mind with the right words, the wrong words will come back. This is a battle. Make no mistake about it. There are forces that want you silent. There are voices that want you confused. There are systems that benefit from you not knowing who you are. And they will fight you. They will send people to discourage you. They will create circumstances to contradict your confession. They will make you feel foolish for believing in yourself. But you cannot quit. You cannot go back to the old language. You've come too far. You've seen too much. You know too much. And even if nobody else believes in you, you believe in you. And that's enough. Because here's the secret that changed my life. You don't need everyone to believe in your dream. He just needs you to believe in it. You don't need a crowd. You need a commitment. You don't need cheerleaders. You need your own voice, speaking life over yourself when everyone else is quiet. And when you master that, when you become your own biggest encourager, your own loudest prophet, your own most faithful supporter, nothing can stop you. I'm telling you today, your season is changing. But it won't change by itself. It will change because you declare it. Your breakthrough is coming, but it won't come because you deserve it. It will come because you announce it. Your purpose is about to unfold. But it won't unfold because you are talented. It will unfold because you finally said yes to it with your mouth. So here's what I want you to do. Starting today, I want you to speak to yourself differently. I want you to wake up every morning and have a conversation with your destiny. Tell it you're coming. Tell it you're ready. Tell it nothing will stop you. Speak to your vision. Tell it to manifest. Speak to your gifts. Tell them to come alive. Speak to your obstacles. Tell them to move. Speak to your fear. Tell it to be silent. Speak to your future. Tell it you're on the way. And don't just think it. Say it out loud. Let your ears hear it. Let your soul receive it. Let the atmosphere shift around you. Because when you speak, you're not just making noise, you're making history. You're not just talking, you're creating. You're not just confessing, you're commanding. Speak it until you become it. That's not just a nice phrase. That's a life strategy. That's how champions are built. That's how destinies are fulfilled. That's how ordinary people do extraordinary things. They speak it before they see it. They declare it before it's real. They believe it before it makes sense. And they don't stop until the word in their mouth becomes the world around them. Your life is about to change. Not because of what I said, but because of what you're about to start saying. Now open your mouth and announce your future. The world is waiting to hear from you. Let me tell you why most people never reach their potential. It's not because they lack talent. It's not because they lack opportunity. It's because they have a vocabulary problem. They know the language of limitation, but they've never learned the language of possibility. They can describe their problems in detail, but they can't articulate their promise. They can tell you everything that's wrong, but they can't speak about what's right. And so they stay trapped in a prison built by their own words. You see, you will never rise above the level of your language. If your vocabulary is full of words like can't, impossible, never, too late, too hard, then your life will reflect that dictionary. But if you change your vocabulary, if you start using words like possible, certain, destined, equipped, prepared, you'll be shocked at how quickly your life starts matching your new language, because you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your words. And here's what's really happening when you speak. You're programming yourself. Every time you open your mouth, you're writing code into your internal operating system. When you say, I always mess things up, you just wrote that into your system. When you say nothing good ever happens to me, you just program that as a belief. When you say I'm not smart enough, you just created a limitation. And your subconscious mind doesn't argue with you. It just says, okay, if that's what you say, that's what I'll help you become. But it works both ways. When you say I am capable, you program capability. When you say I am blessed, you program blessing. When you say I am unstoppable, you program momentum. Your subconscious mind is listening to every single word, taking orders from your mouth, and then working day and night to make sure your life matches your confession. So the question is not whether you're programming yourself. You are. The question is, what are you programming? I want to talk to those of you who've been hurt, those of you who trusted someone and they betrayed you, those of you who gave your heart and it got broken, those of you who tried something and failed publicly. I know what you've been doing. You've been speaking about that pain. You've been rehearsing that story. You've been introducing yourself by your wounds. I'm the one who got cheated on. I'm the one who lost everything. I'm the one who trusted the wrong person. And every time you tell that story, you relive it. Every time you speak that identity, you strengthen it. But I'm here to tell you something that might upset you. Your past does not get a vote in your future unless you keep bringing it to the polls. That thing that happened to you was real. That pain was valid. That loss was significant. I'm not minimizing it. But you have to stop giving it a microphone. You have to stop letting yesterday speak louder than tomorrow. Because as long as you keep talking about what broke you, you will never have the voice strength to speak about what's building you. It's time to change the narrative. It's time to tell a different story. Not a fake story, not a denial of what happened, but a story that includes what's happening now. A story that makes room for healing. A story that announces restoration. A story that declares, yes, that happened, but watch what I'm becoming because of it. Yes, I fell, but watch how I rise. Yes, I was broken, but watch how I rebuild. That's the story that changes everything. You know what I've noticed? People protect the wrong things. They'll protect their excuses like treasure. They'll defend their limitations like it's their identity. They'll fight you if you try to challenge their reasons for staying small. You don't understand my situation. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know how hard it is. And you're right. I don't know your specific struggle. But I know this. Your excuses are more dangerous than your challenges. Your explanations for why you can't are killing you faster than the actual obstacles. Because an obstacle is just a fact. But an excuse is a decision to stay stuck. Stop defending your right to stay where you are. Stop building cases for your own limitations. Stop convincing people why you can instead of declaring why you will. Because every time you explain why something's impossible for you, you're rehearsing defeat. Every time you justify your current position, you're extending your stay there. Your words are either building a ladder or digging a ditch. And most people are digging, calling it realism, wondering why they keep ending up in holes. Let me tell you about agreement. There's a principle in the spiritual realm about agreement. When two or more agree, power is released. But here's what most people miss. You can agree with the wrong things. You can agree with your fear. You can agree with your past. You can agree with what people said about you. You can agree with statistics. You can agree with your current bank account. And when you do, you empower those things. You give them authority in your life. You make them your partner. And whatever you partner with, you multiply. So I'm asking you today, who are you in agreement with? Are you in agreement with your destiny or your disappointment? Are you in agreement with your purpose or your pain? Are you in agreement with heaven's opinion of you or hell's assessment? Because I promise you, both are speaking, both are trying to get you to agree. And whichever voice you echo with your mouth is the one that wins. This is why you must become ruthless with your words. Not reckless, ruthless. There's a difference. Reckless means you say anything without thinking. Ruthless means you say nothing that doesn't serve your purpose. You cut off conversations that drag you down. You exit rooms where negativity is the language. You stop engaging with people whose favorite hobby is complaining. Not because you're better than them, but because you're protecting your future. Because you know that whoever you listen to, you eventually sound like. And whoever you sound like, you eventually become like. I'm going to tell you something that might sound harsh, but it's truth wrapped in love. Some of you are addicted to sympathy. You've gotten so used to people feeling sorry for you that you keep your struggles on display. You rehearse your problems because it gets you attention. You announce your pain because it makes people gather around you. And I understand that. When you've been hurt, when you've been overlooked, when you've been underestimated, sympathy feels like love, but it's not. Sympathy keeps you stuck. Empathy helps you heal, and there's a big difference. Sympathy says, oh, you poor thing. Stay right there. Let me feel sorry for you. Empathy says, I understand your pain. Now let me help you rise. And you need to stop attracting sympathy and start attracting empowerment. You need to stop telling stories that make people pity you and start telling stories that make people believe in you. Because the wrong story attracts the wrong support, and the wrong support keeps you in the wrong place. Here's what I need you to hear. You were not designed for survival. You were designed for dominion. You were not created to just get by. You were created to overcome. You were not born to be a victim of circumstances. You were born to be a victor over circumstances. But you'll never walk in that reality if you keep talking like a victim. You'll never experience that power if you keep confessing weakness. You'll never manifest that authority if you keep announcing defeat. The manufacturer of a product knows what that product was made to do. You don't ask a car to fly. You don't ask a fish to climb a tree. You don't ask a bird to swim underwater. Why? Because they weren't designed for that. They were designed for something specific. And when they operate in their design, they excel. When they try to operate outside their design, they fail. And you are no different. You have a manufacturer. You have a design. You have specifications. And your manufacturer says, you were designed to rule, to create, to influence, to prosper, to build, to lead, to innovate, to transform. That's your design. But somewhere along the way, you started believing a different manual. You started listening to people who don't know your design. You started accepting an identity that was never yours. You started speaking a language that contradicts your specifications, and now you're wondering why life feels so hard. It's because you're trying to be something you were never created to be. You're trying to fit into a box that was never made for you. You're trying to accept limitations that were never part of your blueprint. It's time to go back to the original manual. It's time to find out what your Creator says about you. It's time to reject every label that doesn't match your design. And it's time to start speaking in alignment with your purpose. Because when you speak your design, life starts working. When you confess your specifications, things start clicking. When you announce your purpose, doors start opening. Not because you're special, but because you're finally being who you were created to be. I'm running out of time, but I need to leave you with this. Your mouth is a weapon. It can be used for destruction or construction. It can tear down or build up. It can curse or bless. It can kill dreams or birth vision. And every single day, you get to choose how you use it. Most people use it carelessly. They let anything come out. They speak without thinking. They react without filtering. And then they live in the mess their mouths created. But you're not going to do that anymore. Starting today, you're going to treat your words like seeds. You're going to be intentional about what you plant. You're going to be selective about what you speak. You're going to be disciplined about what you declare. Because you now know the secret. You now understand the power. You now see what most people miss. Your words are not just sounds. They're forces. They're creating your tomorrow. They're shaping your destiny. They're building your future. So speak life, speak purpose, speak vision, speak abundance, speak health, speak success, speak breakthrough. Speak it when you see it. Speak it when you don't. Speak it until your soul believes it. Speak it until your body manifests it. Speak it until your circumstances bow to it. Speak it until you become it. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your season. Now open your mouth and claim it. And let me tell you what's going to happen when you do this. People will think you crazy. They'll call you delusional. They'll say you're being unrealistic. Let them talk. They said the same thing about every person who ever did anything significant. They laughed at the dreamer until the dream became reality. They mocked the vision until it turned into a business. They questioned the prophet until the prophecy came to pass. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to stay consistent with your confession. Because here's the truth that will sustain you. You're not speaking for their benefit. You're speaking for yours. You're not declaring it so they'll believe. You're declaring it so you'll become. And when you finally arrive at the place your mouth has been announcing, when you finally become what your words have been building, those same people who laughed will ask you how you did it. And you'll smile and say, I spoke it until I became it. Now go. Your destiny is calling. And it's time you answer with your voice.